It's a lot of responsibility for you and me then.
I guess.
Or it's going to be a super short show, which it could go either way because my voice. I think I'm about to lose my voice from being outside all night. This is a preview show. We're only on YouTube and Twitter.
Yeah, fuck Facebook.
I guess I could share that post around on Facebook.
Let us get in trouble on YouTube instantly by me just throwing out the F-bomb.
Yeah, no shit. Now we're just totally not streaming anywhere. We're not streaming any place. Everyone has banned us. Nah, Twitter won't ban us. Twitter don't ban fucking nobody.
Nah, Twitter don't care.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a pre-show where we talk about what we're going to do on the show. There's nothing this week in terms of news. We were going to talk about Hawkeye episode 3 if Adam has seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Look at these guys just dripping in.
Oh yeah. Look. Ooh, look.
I'm glad you guys made it.
You said we got banned? What?
No, I got blocked.
By who?
Oh, well, that makes sense. You are a piece of shit.
I know, on Facebook for some reason. And it's not even like a regular block. It's just I'm not allowed to do any live streams.
That's weird.
And I'm like, well, I didn't get any alerts, that my live streams were dangerous. I'm sure I'm not going to cause a attempted insurrection or anything. How bad can they be?
It's probably just like simple indecency. You're a very indecent person.
He's literally putting his face on the internet. No, we're not having that. Have you seen this guy? No, we're not doing it. I think it's actually jealousy because my toy collection is better than Mark Zuckerberg's. Fuck him.
Your hair's better too.
Oh, for sure. That goes without saying. What are you talking
And you have
about?
a personality. You're not like Data.
Data has way more personality. I actually do not like those comparisons because Data was an exploration of humanity, and people really sort of miss, how offensive it is to compare Zuckerberg and Data. They're almost like the antithesis of each other, when you boil them down.
A machine that
He's
wants
a human
to be man
trying
and
to
a
be a
man wants to be a
machine.
machine.
Exactly. Anyways, a light week. We will have a segment 1, but I do have some news, but it's basically just the next X-Men thing and Hawkeye episode 3, which was damn good.
Pretty good. It was
pretty good.
We ain't wrecking a challenger.
Do we want to tap down? Because Taylor's already made a comment on how many he wants to see. No more than 5, I think is what he said. The categories we're going to have for our best of year episode, which will come either last week of December, first week of January, whenever we, you know what I mean? I don't want to put any pressure on us. You know what I mean? So whenever we get, basically I don't know what the fuck I'm doing for the holidays. So I don't want to make anything. I don't want to make any commitments. So yeah, we'll do that.
That sounds about right.
5 sounds good.
First. And then I got food news, big moment of destruction, but it's basically all rumors.
Basically, yeah.
And an okay issue of Shattered Glass. I like.
They're all okay.
I like Goldbug.
Okay.
He's got an ego. I like it. He should. If he's Decepticon,
he's got a Napoleon complex. Is what he's got.
And then we'll do top 3 with way too many good books this week.
Yeah,
way too many good books, dude.
We've had weeks where it's okay, what can I put in a top 3? But this week's oh man, it's really hard to whittle it down.
I had at least 5-6 books that I was man, this could easily make. Even with Avengers number 50 just being all over the place,
it's so big, it's hard not to be.
It was great, it was really good. But yeah, then we'll do top 3. So everybody cool with that? Anything else we want to add or take away?
Sounds good. I'm agreeable.
Dave, you're the best.
Yay!
So glad you're here.
Good old roll with it, Dave.
That's right. All right, well, let's do it. Let's do the show. Yeah, I'm losing my voice. I think I was outside too much over the weekend. I hate the outside.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. And the weather keeps changing. It was 70 over the freaking weekend. It's killing me.
Thunder and lightning right now.
Oh, you got weather? Greetings, geeks. Welcome back. It's a another episode of this Geek in Comics Outright Geekery's comic book shit talk show.
Shit talk show.
Adam Normal Taylor, aka David. How's it going, gentlemen?
Good.
Nothing to complain about.
Awesome. Segment 1, dude, I didn't do nothing this week. I was so busy with, I'm still technically moving, setting stuff up, making sure, hanging curtains, once we figure out what curtains to get, and it's just really taking a toll.
It's definitely time consuming.
On my free time. Home Alone, we watched that. We watched another Christmas movie. Oh, Die Hard. We did watch Die Hard.
Of course.
The best Christmas movies.
Yeah, Gremlins is on the agenda, all that
Of course.
stuff.
Gotta watch that one too.
Hawkeye is actually shaping up to be one of those sorts of shows that we will revisit, annually for a Christmas thing. It's only 2 hours. It's basically a movie.
I can see that.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, and it's shaping up to, it's really digging into Christmas. We're going to talk about that later.
I didn't do it this year, but it occurs to me I probably should have gone back and watched WandaVision at Halloween. It had the Halloween episode and everything.
Sure. For sure. Adam said he watched the new Ghostbusters movie.
I did. I actually went out into the world, went to a movie theater.
Yeah, no shit.
I know.
It was really good, actually. I've seen it too.
Oh, you seen it too? Go ahead, John.
Yeah, it was pretty damn good. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be. It's Stranger Things and Ghostbusters mixed together, but it's about as good as that mixed together can be. So
it is probably a more truer sequel than Ghostbusters 2 to the original Ghostbusters.
Oh, people need to stop with Ghostbusters 2, okay? I get the nostalgia.
Well,
Ghostbusters 2
I like it. It's a fun movie to watch because it's bad. Bad movie. But
from Ghostbusters 1 continues in this Ghostbusters.
That's cool. With
Gozer.
With Gozer, yeah.
Yeah. Gozer the Gozerian.
J.K. Simmons makes like a brief appearance in it.
Rad.
He does. Yeah.
He does.
Well, that always makes a movie better.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Anytime he shows up in anything, it's good.
But it was like a really nice tribute to Harold Ramis too.
Nice. Yeah, I heard there was a sort of a tearjerker moment at the end.
Yeah. You get to see a weird CGI Harold Ramis.
Ooh, never mind.
It's a ghost. So
ooh, okay, that might be better.
He shows up in the final fight.
And then they bust him.
No, they don't. They let him go.
Well,
it was all a sting operation.
They bust him with emotion.
Most of all.
Yeah, motherfucker was undercover with the ghost the whole time. Anybody else do anything cool this week?
Not cool, but helping my parents decorate for Christmas, and we watched A Boy Called Christmas. It's either A Boy Called Christmas or A Boy
is that on
Named
Netflix?
Christmas. Yeah, it's a Netflix thing.
That's I'm thinking 8-Bit Christmas. What is the show you're watching called?
It's basically like Santa Claus's origin story, one of those types of things. It's not a new idea, but it was fairly well done.
David asked, was it claymation?
It was live action.
Okay, I was going to say, really? That does not sound like something Taylor would be like, oh, dude, watch this rad claymation.
Oh, well, like the old school Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah,
the way I approach most Christmas movies is like, is this an amusing diversion? And I think that this was an amusing diversion. It's very rare for me to watch a Christmas movie and be like, "Oh man, that was fucking awesome."
And some you can watch with like grandma,
Yeah,
just some time waster where it doesn't matter if people are talking or you get distracted halfway through. I have heard about this 8-Bit Christmas, which is like Jingle All the Way, but with a Nintendo.
Ooh,
something like that, like
someone trying to go out and get an NES or something.
Yeah, I think
or
something
Switch.
Like
that.
Does it have Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sinbad in it?
No, of course not.
Dude, nothing has Sinbad in it these days.
Does it have Jake Lloyd?
You would have heard about it if it had any of the original folks in there. So instead of moving right into the news, yes, let's go a little special segment later this year. We will be doing our best of 2021. And I don't know, should we keep it simple? Should we make it strange? Should we make it stupid? Or should we just make it just, straight ahead, just basic best artist?
My vote would be for the broad categories. Like, what was your favorite TV show this year? What was your favorite movie this year? What was your favorite comic this year? The stuff that's like in our wheelhouse.
Are we going to do like 3 of each, like our top 3?
I think that would take too long. I think we all just advocate for our number one.
Yeah, I agree with Taylor on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So only 5 categories and then 5 picks. or want to do more categories?
5.
I mean, it's still like 20 things we're going to have to get through with like, some crossover between us, I'm sure, here and there. But,
Sure. And then we can have just an overall honorable mentions.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
We can all just like talk up like other stuff that we didn't make our number one, but we still really liked.
Definitely.
Don't want to leave anyone out in the cold on Christmas.
Do we want to combine TV and movie? No, we don't want to do that.
No.
Nah, those can be separate.
So best TV show, of course. Best movie. And then we're comics. So do we want to do, what do we want to do there? Best, see, this is a segment that was supposed to be really long. And I could feel like we're almost done with this segment. Okay.
Sorry, we're not filling out the time.
I know. Well, I tried to take it off in weird tangents at the beginning.
Okay, well, hey, we could
Marvel
do like best
book,
like series and also best single issue, maybe, if that's something we could do.
Do you want to do
best small publisher
and best artist?
We could do that, sure.
And then best single issue.
We should definitely do best single issue.
Man, I don't know about best single issue, but that issue of
Rob. I don't know. There are a couple of standout issues that definitely come to mind this year.
I feel like
only one immediately comes to mind.
My two there's two that I have like initially like off the top of my head that are probably my contenders. But
I
we'll save that for later.
Because I will not have any. I don't have any ideas. I only have one idea.
Oh, do you want me to say them right now?
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
So best single issue. Do we want to go best series, which would include mini or ongoing?
I would do that.
Okay, best series.
And then I feel like writer and artist would probably get like absorbed into series. So like I feel like it's better to do series.
You're not wrong there, but I'm not sure if for me best series would the writer on my favorite series, the series that I consider to be the best, would be the best writer of the year, because my choice for best writer just has more of a library of work that came out in 2021 than what I would consider the best series. You know what I mean?
I feel like it's either going to be Mark Russell or James Tynion for you.
I'm kind of feeling Jeff Lemire.
No. Tom Taylor.
Yeah. Tom Taylor's another good choice. Man, you know what? That is a good. Maybe we should do that because there are a lot of really good contenders for that.
Yeah, because he's writing some great books, but they're not my favorite book of the year.
That's fair, but James really impressive. Like probably has the most impressive spread, though. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll do best series and then best writer and best artist. If you do best writer, we have to do best artist. Do we want to do like best letterer?
Let's not get too much into the
no best letterer.
All right, so we got best TV show, best movie, best single issue, best series, best writer, best artist.
That seems good to me.
This is what we consider best and or favorite, or are we going with, because that's two different things.
Let's not split hairs on that.
My favorite movie is not what I would call the best movie.
That's a good distinction. That is
this podcast.
That is an excellent distinction.
You can when you pick your number one, you can tell us whether or not it's your number one favorite or if it's just the best.
It's the best.
Fucking Matrix will be out by the time we do this show, so I really have a feeling
that's true. We're like within a couple weeks of that now.
Yeah. I really think Matrix is going to be the best movie of the year. It's got high hopes, but my favorite movie of the year is not going to be The Matrix. I don't care how good it is. It's not going to be my favorite movie of the year. All right, so there you go. TV show, movie, single issue, series, writer, artist. So we kept it to 5. I think single issue kind of pushed us over the top, but that's really one that you got to hit. You got to hit that one. All right, cool. Well, there you go. Cool. Look forward to that later this year, within the next few weeks,
or the first of next year.
Yeah, whatever. Maybe we'll see. I don't know how the holidays are going to go.
Whenever we find time.
Whenever, maybe February. Who the fuck knows? Let's do news.
And now here's Goma with the news.
I got nothing for news this week. It was a very light week of news.
You did the intro package for nothing, for literal nothing.
Did. There's rumors that Dark Horse is going to get sold, but that's not really big news.
Yeah, that's
rumors.
No, that's just rumors.
But Marvel has announced the next leg in the whole X-Men legacy that's going on since Hickman's new status quo. It's the destiny of X, and it's sort of being promoted as different possible potential maybe futures.
Yeah, all the promo images are like different characters with different backgrounds, and one would have to assume, right, like different possible branching futures or some such thing.
X-Men Future State.
There's a variant.
Don't. You've already ruined it. Now you've ruined it.
Well, it just statistically, even if that is what they're doing, it has to be better, right?
It has to be better. I believe that it'll be better. I'm just throwing that out there to piss Gomer off.
So is that Wolverine with like Warlock? Because that actually does look pretty cool.
It does look like that.
It's either
that's Warlock. That's totally Warlock.
Warlock, but Warlock is just a sentient, an individualized sentient from the
phalanx.
The phalanx virus, which is kind of a virus still, but not really. It's a techno-organic virus, similar to the one that Cable's got. But
he can turn it doesn't
look
like
Wolverine's being overrun by it. So it does. That looks
honestly, that character is a brilliant inclusion for Cypher, because Cypher can't do shit in a fight, and so they gave him like a permanent bodyguard. And
they did it again. Now he got Bay.
True.
It's just beautiful right here.
So this tells me absolutely goddamn nothing about what's going on. These are all just like glamour shots of Storm, and that's not a complaint. They look great.
Yeah, they do look good.
I don't know what strange future is this? Like they're all just like zoomed in on her face. I don't know what's going on here.
John Carter.
So
John Carter's Queen of Mars.
My favorite is the Hope one, because Hope has actually lived that middle future, which is really cool. But the Magneto one is great too, because it's you can sort of tell his mood by what he's wearing. He's one of those sorts.
Well, the middle one looks like he's floating buildings. That looks like a bus in buildings.
So it looks like he's either like, leading Krakoa, or he's going back to his old ways, or he's like hanging out in like the fucking apocalypse wasteland, whatever.
Well, on that third one in the black costume, he's dropping the helmet, which is almost like he's defeated. He's
giving up.
And I don't know if I remember a story where outside of the Ultimate Universe where Magneto gave up. So big plans, always big plans in the X-verse. The Hickman, era has been so good, and we want it to continue, but it's not. But maybe it is in spirit. So we are hopeful. So look for that 2022. And then Hawkeye episode 3, Echoes.
Woo-hoo.
Takeaways. Everybody watch it?
Yes.
Yep.
I watched it.
It was cool.
This is fucking awesome, man. We got that Pym arrow in this.
Oh yeah.
Was not expecting that, but loved it.
I don't know how that bridge was undamaged, but I'm not gonna.
Dude, that's one of those don't worry about it, just let it be cool type of moments.
I'm not going to pick nits over that.
I love the fact that he's pulling the arrows out, says, don't use this one, don't use this one. And she's like, there's 4 arrows more dangerous than that.
But, getting beyond that, I really loved this episode's use of sound, or its lack of sound. Because there's multiple characters in this episode who are deaf.
Or hearing impaired.
Or hearing impaired.
Sure.
And it does a great way of showing how they have to deal with it on a day-to-day or during an action scene. Then it had a really that car chase was just amazingly well shot.
The car chase was good because the car chase is straight out of the Fraction AHA run of My Life as a Weapon, and it was perfect.
That car chase scene from beginning to end, like between like all the arrow play and of course all the trick arrows, and genuinely good car stunts. It was a really
camera
awesome
work in
scene.
that the way it was spinning around, but it was one constant scene with the camera spinning, and you just got to see how everything organically evolved around the car that you're in. Also, it was great at putting you in the action.
Yeah, it was very, very well done.
And then we got to have like the big let's call it a fan service moment, right? Where like they do the damn Pym arrow.
Yeah.
There was comic book fan service in this too. Like as soon as they get out and they go to that car, that's the car that they're in My Life as a Weapon. And then he's like, no, let's get in the other car. And then that car still gets blown up. He's bitching about that car, getting smashed up in that comic, which was really cool. And I think that's my biggest takeaway so far from Hawkeye, besides the fact that it's like a new Christmas holiday classic.
Oh yeah, and they did like blare the Christmas music during the car chase too, which was kind of.
And they're in like the tree lot, the Christmas tree lot, and
that was great.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
There's that moment. Are you going to be home for Christmas, Daddy? Where she's
they're putting
writing...
James Bond to shame with all those gadgets.
Yeah, right.
All those trick arrows.
Right.
Do you think Uncle is the Kingpin?
No, I don't think they're gonna do that.
They definitely want us to think that, at least. I want to say.
I don't. I mean, they're it's hard to say, dude. It's hard to say.
I feel like it's got to be someone. Otherwise, why tease it out?
But is it going to be the someone that everyone is saying it's the someone because of the TV? We know it's going to be someone from our Marvel universe, the comic universe. Just like Jacques.
Well, like, do I know if it's Vincent D'Onofrio being Kingpin again? I have no idea. Maybe
they can't do it.
I don't think. Well, I'm not going to rule it out.
You can't do Kingpin, at least not until that man passes away, without D'Onofrio. You just can't.
I mean, they can.
The best part of the Netflix, all the Netflix shows.
Yeah, but that's dead and gone now. Nobody cares about that anymore.
But that is the one part that's...
But Marvel has demonstrated that they're willing to bring back actors from other movies.
They are.
Sure,
they are.
Sure.
I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home is proof of that.
Yeah, no shit. So I
think this would be like incorporating non-multiversal stuff, though, so it's a little different. But still, though, like, of all the castings throughout all these Marvel properties, his is one of the standouts. There's a lot of really good ones. Their casting department is really good across the board, but he is one of the very best.
Let's just say, like, we've gotten all of these Marvel movies, all these MCU shows, but honestly, there's only been a handful, and not even that, of really good Marvel villains. You have Thanos, you have Loki, and then you have the King.
I don't even count Loki anymore.
Yeah.
Throw Killmonger on that list, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll put Killmonger on that list.
I'll put Killmonger on that list. I wanted Killmonger to win. I know he's a villain, but I really, related with the villain. But
and speaking of villains, at least for now, this was a really great introduction to Echo.
Oh my god!
In an antagonistic role here.
It was perfect. It's so good.
I don't think Echo will remain the antagonist the
entire
entire series.
Oh no, she's gonna end up.
She'll have her heel face turn by the end, I'm sure.
Yeah. And it may not be a complete turn because we're still not sure what's happening, like with the post-credit scene in Black Widow, with Yelena going and hooking up with Julia Louis-Dreyfus' character, which I can never.
So we think Echo might be on like the Thunderbolts. Are we going to call this the Thunderbolts or
no? I don't want to. I don't want to call them the Thunderbolts.
Dark Avengers.
General Ross has to be involved for it to be a Thunderbolts. If he's involved, then sure. Otherwise, no. And I want Red Hulk. Okay, damn it. I want my fucking Red Hulk.
No, nobody wants Red Hulk.
Dude.
Yes. Nobody wants Red Hulk.
Red Hulk was great except for the bait and switch.
Yeah,
okay,
Red Hulk was good.
And the writer kept lying about who it was. That's the worst part.
This is petty, but I really would have liked it a lot better if he kept his mustache when he turned into the Hulk.
Yeah, right. I think they've updated that. I think in the comics he does now keep the mustache.
Well, they couldn't have it at first because that would have been a dead giveaway for that stupid red herring that they kept running around with the whole time.
I think they've changed that where he does keep his mustache. But I don't know. That's where I'd like to see her go. And we all know she's eventually going to become Ronin. In the comics, there's a very special thing that they do with Echo, with Maya Lopez. And it's sort of the tattoo, the handprint tattoo. And they did it and that's only a callback to the comics. No one else anywhere would understand that moment where her dad dying there reaches up and puts his hand on her face and it leaves that blood stain on her face. Dude, I was like, yeah, that is a direct shout out to the comic fans. It was fantastic. It was great. But yeah, she's destined to become Ronin by the end of this, and I'm stoked to see it. The show's for real. None of the damn Marvel shows have let down thus far.
No, they've all been
pretty good.
Yeah, they've like even the weakest among them, I would say, was What If. But even then, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was fun.
By the end, I was blown away by What If. When I didn't realize by the end they were all going to bring everything together, I was blown away. I was like, wow, that's an anthology with a capstone, and it is perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Cool. What are we doing? Food news now, huh? I got a terrible one, but it's terrible for all the wrong reasons.
All right, let's just get it over with.
Yummy.
Yeah, we had an oral contract. Adam's right, where we would like alternate disgusting and good.
So this is disgusting, but in a totally different way. I skipped the Chipotle brand cilantro soap and the Mountain Dew and the Mountain Dew grilled cheese sandwich that I saw on a TikTok video.
What the fuck? Those sound
we're not doing that. And this week we are doing Stouffer's frozen dinners.
Okay.
That sing holiday music to you.
Wait, what? They sing while they're in the microwave?
Hold on, is this like the greeting cards where you open it up and it plays a song? Is this like that type of thing when you open up the box?
It's like the try me button in the toy aisle.
What?
Yeah. So Stouffer's is bringing holiday cheer to the frozen food aisle with the release of a new singing lasagna and mac and cheese boxes that play a festive 15-second jingle at the touch of a sticker button on the front of select boxes.
Hey, so you like carolers but live alone?
First thing, if you're bringing this shit and
I guess your life is already sad if this is like what you're having for dinner anyway, but
you're not wrong. But my fear is they're making this sort of holiday oriented. If this is what you're bringing to the family dinner and passing it off as your own, there's a special place in hell for you. Okay, there is. Don't lie about Stouffer's. But yeah, it's just the mac and cheese, just the lasagna, all sizes. They can be found in retailers right now.
Oh gosh.
Okay, this is not the food news that I was expecting.
No, it's never the food news that you're expecting. It's always the one you deserve.
Well, I'll find one at the store the next time I go, and I'll just push the sticker and then I'll put it back.
It's weird that they're getting to work.
This is a fine holiday inclusion. I actually prefer this over them like trying to like put like fucking gingerbread on their mac and cheese or some shit like that.
That's coming next.
Yeah,
Are you listening, Stouffer's? We want gingerbread.
No, I was saying this is better.
Yeah, that was a weird one. I couldn't pass it up. So, all right, let's get into this moment. All right, this is it, y'all. This is the revolution happening as we speak. Bleeding Cool is reporting. They're doing a lot of rumor mongering on this, okay?
Oh, yeah. There's a ton of rumor mongering, but I'm down for it. Let's dive in.
Bleeding Cool is reporting that both Transformers and G.I. Joe are being taken away from IDW by Hasbro and will be moved to another publisher next year.
Oh, you were mentioning them losing Transformers. I don't think that you mentioned them losing Joe.
You were speculating about losing Joe when we had that discussion.
Yeah, no, he wrote both stories. There were two different stories that they're losing both. We don't know what this means for the rest of Hasbro's properties or the action verse that aren't currently being published. That includes Mask and Micronauts and what the hell?
And they'll all slowly go the same way as Transformers and
Visionaries.
And
do they not come with it? Yeah, Visionaries.
They just play follow the leader. That's all they do.
No, it should just
I'm
go.
Pretty sure they are all bundled together, aren't they?
Yeah, they should be all bundled together. But then they also reported that editor-in-chief and former Transformer scribe John Barber, one of my favorites, is no longer the editor-in-chief at IDW. IDW did not confirm or deny this, but I have a follow-up to this. Just today, Bleeding Cool reported that they found a job opening on the IDW website for an executive editorial director.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, in the job description, Bleeding Cool points out that there is nowhere mentioned that they're going to be working with an editor-in-chief. Now, that's a little bit of a stretch, for confirmation that there's no longer an editor-in-chief at one of the premier comic book publishers. But, I mean, everybody...
Will it be one of the premier comic book publishers the way it's going?
Not if they lose this shit.
No, man, they already lost their Star Wars shit that they were publishing. Now they're losing the Transformers. They're losing G.I. Joe. Those are big money makers for them. What do they have left? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and My Little Pony. But My Little Pony's Hasbro.
My Little Pony will sell no matter where it is.
But My Little Pony's also Hasbro, so that will probably leave.
It doesn't do a fat lot of good for IDW if they're not the ones publishing it, though.
Yeah.
Oh, no, for sure. But there's no confirmation that they're losing My Little Pony. Or not even a rumor. But I agree with you. Yes, if Hasbro's yanking all this shit away from IDW now, why wouldn't they yank everything?
Yeah,
and give it to somebody else. Where do we want to see Transformers and Joe go, and where do we think it will go? Those are two different questions.
I would want it to go to Boom.
Me too.
And I would think, honestly, it would probably go to Boom. If it went to any of the, if it didn't go to Marvel, it would go to Boom. Is what I would
Marvel, it wouldn't be able to put the attention on it that I would want them to put.
Exactly. That's why I don't want it to go to Marvel.
Yeah,
if it goes to Marvel, it would be like a Conan situation where they'll give it to Jason Aaron for a year and then they'll just like go.
Not that I wouldn't want to see.
Well, if it's like Conan, yeah, you would see like you'd get like Optimus Prime on like the sci-fi Avengers or whatever.
They've done that. They've had a crossover between Transformers and Avengers that was quite good.
I'm just saying something like Savage Avengers where it's like an ongoing for a little while. That would be rad.
That would be fucking cool. But I mean, I've had a lot of great times with Transformers comics and with G.I. Joe comics. Even this
Tony
recent
Stark
one
upgrading Optimus Prime.
Oh, dude, that would be rad.
Yeah, but IDW, let's be honest, they have been letting us down the last few years with what they've been doing with both franchises. Yeah, we had that big false start with that last G.I. Joe iteration.
No, this was a great run.
Yeah,
they cut it short. It ended with this. It ended. You could tell it ended prematurely with an oversized one shot where they cleaned up. Remember, it was Major Blood and Dr. Mindbender, and Major Blood like sacrificed himself. And I mean, it was a great story, but it didn't have the impact that it would have had if we would have pulled a little bit further on a lot of the threads that we're building. This dude right here, who like is the new guy, the dude with the red jacket, who joins
Kaneda.
Yeah, basically, who joins G.I. Joe, as a civilian and does it because he wants to fight the terrorists.
Kaneda's too much of a piece of shit to join the Joes, I would say.
Sure.
But whatever.
Well, the Joes were
desperate. Is a real big piece of shit.
The Joes were desperate in this one. But, I mean, if Marvel gets it, it's going to suck. I don't even know if there's another answer besides Boom. And that may say a lot about the industry right now.
Yeah, like I could think maybe Dark Horse.
That would be my choice. Would be Dark Horse.
So Dark Horse is your Dark Horse pick for this one?
Yeah, Dark Horse would be my Dark Horse pick. But even then, like it's not gonna go to Aftershock. It's not gonna go.
Aftershock don't.
It's not gonna go to Vaults.
No, it's not.
They're not big enough. They ain't big enough.
It's not gonna go. Devil's Due or anything.
Yeah,
like
Hasbro's not going to give this to a publisher that isn't a premier publisher.
No.
So the only other reasonable place to kind of think about going is going to Image.
You think Image?
I was about to say Image.
Image doesn't do license stuff.
Yeah, Image.
They could though. They could.
I don't want Image to do license stuff.
I don't either. That would take way too much editorial work, and I'm not sure Image has the infrastructure to be able to do that.
No.
You need an editor who's going to be able to do more than one series. You need multiple series, and you're gonna want. I'm sorry, dude. When G.I. Joe and Transformers were the best was when they were intertwined.
It was
when you had Action Man and fucking Cup on a cross country road trip. Okay, that's the kind of books we wanted.
Even then, they didn't give us enough of that.
No, it was so good though. But yeah, I don't know. It's big news if it happens. 2022 is hopeful. Honestly, I'm hopeful that this does happen, that this does come true, because IDW since Phase 2 ended with
IDW already shot itself in the foot when it ended Phase 2. It had the best comic book universe going at the moment with its 2 Transformers books, plus all the other action shit that was going on. I mean, it had me caring about the fucking Visionaries.
Dude, for a while there was the G.I. Joe book by Aubrey Sitterson. Remember, that was very good. They were going to Cobra La. Damn it. They were going to Cobra La.
Oh, really?
Yes.
They were?
Yeah. Transformers was carrying 3 ongoing books. 3. Lost Light, Optimus Prime, and Until All Are One. 3 fucking books. And then they had Mask, Visionaries, Micronauts, ROM. Action Man had a fucking miniseries in there.
Yeah.
I mean, IDW had it, and then they were like, all right, let's just end this. It's like, what are you doing? maybe Hasbro is sabotaging them. Maybe there's, stuff coming down because the toys were doing their own sort of thing. G.I. Joe Classified was getting ramped up. Aubrey Sitterson, running his mouth on Twitter and losing that. That was like the first domino. Remember that? That was like the first domino to fall in that whole Hasbro Actionverse just going away. And I want that back. We only got one book to review this week as part of IOD or MOD, I guess. Danny Lore and Daniel Kana on Shattered Glass #4.
It was okay. All these Shattered Glass books have been okay. It's just whether or not you like that particular take on the character that's being highlighted in this issue. Mm-hmm. And I do like this iteration of Goldbug. He is basically just a war. He's a tyrant. He's a tyrant in
Napoleon
one of
complex.
Autobot cities.
Yeah, you said it best earlier. Yeah. Napoleon complex.
And he's got this huge Napoleon complex. He's Goldbug because his old body was destroyed in a previous battle. So all the Autobots think he's basically just shit. He's the shits because he's not any good at combat or anything. No. So he has this big chip on his shoulder. They also all think he's a whiny baby because he keeps trying to point out where everybody else is trying to plot around him, and everybody's like, yeah, of course everybody's trying to plot around us. We're the bad guys. What do you expect is going to happen?
Yeah, he's all paranoid. He really wants Jetfire to get this Starscream thing done because Starscream has like the key to awaken Metroplex. Mm-hmm. I'm not really following all that, although it's actually kind of interesting.
But it's all in the background, which has been the problem of this whole series. Is like the story has been in the background, and you really have to parse it together between these character highlights that may or may not matter because sometimes the characters they highlight are dead by the end of the issue.
Exactly. That happened in this fight right here, which was actually a really fun.
All the fights in this issue were fun. Skywarp pops Goldbug up, tries to save Starscream.
Shit out of him.
Yeah, Goldbug just destroys them. And then it has a fun take on the Insecticons.
Oh, yeah, I got that too.
They're kind of like the Dinobots a little bit.
There's an honorable, like, sort of brotherhood there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's really interesting. I wish they were able to flesh all of this universe out a little bit more.
It's an interesting story that's just not being told in a very interesting, cohesive way.
Yeah. It's more, I would rather they explore this universe than tell the story they're telling. A series of one-shots within the Shattered universe would probably
I feel like that would have been better.
Yeah. And you can have all of these great takes by all of these different writers, if you wanted. But again, as we've already established, IDW has no fucking clue what they're doing with these franchises anymore. So, there's your moment of destruction. We'll have more of that, hopefully, in the next few months at a new publisher. Mm-hmm. Let's do top 3. I think we'll start with Taylor. I don't think Taylor's started in a while.
If you say so.
Yeah, I don't really keep track, but it feels like you haven't.
All right, so like we were saying earlier, a lot of good books this week, so I'm just going to rapid fire some honorable mentions real quick.
Cool.
Batman the Detective wrapped up this week. It was a lot of fun from beginning to end. It's our boy Tom Taylor running Batman, and it's definitely the best Bruce Wayne comic out right now, which is not a high bar to clear, but
Sure.
Avengers number 50 or 750. I'm not sure actually which number to say there.
It's number 50, 750 Legacy.
Yeah. I liked it. But $10 was a lot to pay for what was essentially one big setup for the next arc.
In a book that has been doing nothing but setting stuff up and not really wrapping anything up.
Yeah, it's like they took what should have been the last issue of that World War She-Hulk. Okay, so that's fair. They took what should have been the last issue of World War She-Hulk. In the first issue of the next arc, it just put them in the same book and gave us a Thor backup.
And then added a bunch of other stuff too.
Yeah,
I mean, they had the Eye Guy in here.
Well, you always have to have Orb in there because it's a Jason Aaron.
That's one of his pet characters.
Yeah. Orb is one of his pet characters. He hasn't done shit since Original Sin, where he got that other Watcher eye. So I'm glad, finally, years later, he's finally killed that bastard, so we can tie up that loose end.
Dude, it's had to have been at least 5 years. since that book.
But that being said, as much as like this was too much to ask for like basically 2 issues put together, it was a lot of fun. I really like Jason Aaron's Doom Supreme character. These Masters of Evil are pretty fun. They are continuing along with like the Squadron Supreme of America, and they killed that piece of shit Dr. Spectrum. So
very unceremoniously too, just like one panel. Here's his
yeah,
heart. I'm like, oh, weird.
But he still got to be a piece of shit before that. Though,
he did.
So.
He did. Really
he was a piece of shit right up to the end. But yeah, so it was. I liked what was there, but I can't put that in my top 3 in good conscience because of the price point.
I couldn't do it because it was all over the place. I think my favorite part of the book was T'Challa and Namor again. I love anytime they're hanging out. I love it. I love it so much. But and Aaron does a really good job with them.
He does. He does a good job with both characters. Honorable mention for Trial of Magneto, which really is like the resurrection of Scarlet Witch. Calling it the Trial of Magneto is a total load of shit. But apparently it wasn't Magneto because of the way Scarlet Witch was acting. But next issue, I guess, starts with her being like, "Oh, by the way, it was this person."
Yeah, it's weird. It was a weird cliffhanger. Just very.
So much for X Factor investigating stuff.
It was very, very. I think that's the only way to put it. It was just a lot.
Yeah, that was a big plot point in this issue, right? That like Wiccan and Speed show up and they're like, "Oh, hey, here's something you did not consider." Oh shit! I guess our investigation up to this point was a complete waste of time.
Yeah. And then
also kaiju.
Yeah, also some kaiju that Scarlet Witch imagined into existence, which that was the secret to literally no one who was reading the book. And another thing, like they're going to resurrect Wanda, and it's like, holy shit, she's resurrecting herself. I'm like, wait, what? What is she doing? What is happening in this book? Wait.
I mean, Scarlet Witch is a character that's weird as shit. So, you know, if they're going to do it with any one character, she's a fine one.
No, you're right. It works. But I was just like, wow. Okay. It's okay.
So she's the second person to do this then.
Who else?
Legion did it.
Legion did it.
Yeah, Legion.
Well, Legion like basically exists as like a disembodied brain. So yeah, if you have a body for him, you can just enter it whenever he fucking wants to.
Yeah, that's true. Wow, Dave's schooling me on the X-Men. It's a weird episode.
All right. Sorry. I'll do a final honorable mention for Wonder Girl number 5. Joel Jones was not on the art this week, but it was still pretty good. Like it was good art, like that I would have thought was real. Like the only bad thing I can say about it was that it wasn't Joelle Jones doing it herself.
It's the same problem I have with the Black Widow books when Rafael de la Torres is on there and Elena Casagrande is not.
Yeah, I mean that's tough to step in to be the pinch hitter, you know, for really talented artists like that.
But I understand why they do it because you got to wait on that good art.
Yeah, and but I will say though that like there were some really cool battle montages. I really like seeing like this new tribe of Amazons. They're home for the first time. That was really cool. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed what was there. But anyway, finally getting to
yeah, that was real rapid fire.
Dude, there was a lot this week, and he didn't mention any of the books.
We could have talked a lot more about all that stuff, but
yeah.
Okay, but fair enough. All right. Oh, in that case, I won't talk too much about my number 3, which was Justice League Dark Annual.
This was actually a disappointment to me.
The art was terrible.
The art was kind of a disappointment, and then I thought this was going to wrap up the Justice League Dark story.
It absolutely did not. That's true. And also, apparently, we're ahead because the stuff that like concluded in Atlantis has not been published yet, as far as I'm aware.
As far as I'm aware, too. Yeah. So
that was kind of weird. But that being said, like I did enjoy all of the character interactions. I did enjoy the setup for what's to come. I wish they would just do a Justice League Dark ongoing, which maybe they'll start doing. I don't know. Instead of making it a backup in the very disappointingly mediocre Justice League book.
They got to get you to buy Bendis somehow.
Yeah. Well, I guess they're just going to keep stringing me along there.
Bendis got to sell books. If Ram V got to do it for him, so be it.
Ram V didn't even write this issue.
Yeah, I know, but he's writing that backup in Justice League, no? He's the one writing.
Yeah, I believe so.
He has been, but this particular issue, Ram V did not write. Dan Waters wrote.
It's weird. Yeah, I was not a fan of this book. It was okay, but
you know what?
Oh,
like I've been enjoying.
Taylor's cutting out.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit, T.
He's cutting out and in slow motion.
It's wild. It's wild. Anyway,
that dark story.
Not a bad choice. Not a bad choice. Just because you've been keeping up with it, and everybody wants more of the.
Oh shit, we lost him.
Of the Justice League.
Oh, maybe the weather's gone bad.
I didn't mean to shit him out of the podcast.
He'll be back. I'm sure he'll jump back in. I'll go. All of the X books were solid. Avengers 50 was way too much of a good thing. We're talking about artist swaps. Martin Simmons was not on this week's issue of Department of Truth. He had a fill-in artist, and it was still just as damn good. Those are my honorable mentions. Marauders 26 was fantastic.
That's my number 3, man.
Awesome. My number 3 was Nightwing Annual.
That's one of my honorable mentions. Yeah.
Nightwing Annual was fucking great. All you got to know is it was the Dick and Jason show, doing Red Hood and Nightwing shit in an issue. It was really fun, but it also had these terrific, poignant moments in it. You know, it was
it had some cool guys not looking at explosions.
Yeah, had cool guys look. I mean, that's all you need to know about how dope this book was.
No, this was a cool book though. I mean, it had your nice brotherly love moment. It's it's also a nice Clayface story too, which you don't see enough of those.
This one was gone from the shop when I got there.
Oh, that sucks, dude. That sucks. You should throw Nightwing on your list.
I think it is. It just wasn't in my box.
Oh, that sucks. That sucks.
Maybe the shop got shorted. I don't know.
Yeah. It was a bit. This issue it was a bit rough around the edges. Okay, it wasn't as clean as I would.
Well, the art was definitely a step down from the normal.
For sure, it was Sion Torme on the art, and yeah, he is no Bruno Redondo.
No, okay? Not even. It was still fine though.
And I miss Bruno because that whole last arc of Nightwing was the fucking Fear State, and he wasn't on that book either. So I'm sure the next 6 issues are going to be all Bruno. I cannot wait. But yeah, this Nightwing Annual was very cool. I want Taylor to do a Red Hood book now.
I also, with Alfred being dead for a while now, when you do get some nice Alfred moments, they actually hit a little bit better than beforehand when, he would pop up all the fucking time.
Yeah, for sure. We will be mentioning Alfred popping up into people's minds later.
Yes, we will be. We will be.
Definitely. But yeah, number 3 for me, Nightwing Annual.
All right, man. So I'll go on my honorable mentions. Nightwing Annual was one of those. Also, Robin Annual.
Is that only an honorable mention?
That's only an honorable mention.
That's my
mostly because this is a weird one. I think this got hit with delays or something. I feel like it because this is way behind.
I like that it was behind.
Do you? Because it does the whole thing where it introduces you to all the combatants who have already been defeated.
It gives you the reason why they're there, and I think that's more important now after issue number 6, because we got some more background on a lot of those characters, including Connor.
But we're just definitely on Flatline. We're on issue 9. It just feels like this
happens before issue 6.
And then I also don't like it because it threatens another Batman event. At the end.
I'm okay with that. I don't think Batman's going to be in it.
But it's going through Batman.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it goes through all of the Williamson books. Williamson realized, oh shit, I'm writing every book at DC. I might as well make an event between all of them. So it's going to go through Batman. It's going to go through Robin. It's
bringing together the Williamson verse here.
Yes,
but isn't Bruce moving out of Gotham though?
No.
Is that going to be included in this?
I thought I heard that he was. Yeah.
I know the I Am Batman guy is moving to New York, but I thought Bruce himself was leaving as well. I don't know.
He might be. I don't know.
I heard something about that, but that wasn't in any of the Batman stuff that I remember reading from last few weeks.
But that's it. Robin was
go ahead
really
with your
fun.
number 3. Go ahead with your number 3. I'll talk about Robin again.
Robin's a lot of fun. Yeah, you'll talk about it later. But my then the other honorable mention was Avengers 50. But then my number 3 was Marauders number 26, just because this was a fucking badass Iceman issue.
Oh, dude, Iceman was cool in it, but Harry Leyland as the Black Bishop, dude, he is a favorite of mine, and he was great in this. He was really cool, dude.
Yeah, he had some nice character moments in here, getting to reunited with family and stuff, and
but it was all about really tall Iceman.
Yeah, that's all about really tall Iceman fighting Fin Fang Foom with his little tiny shorts.
It's so dumb. I loved it.
It is. It's great.
I like this issue because it kind of got into the politics around the resurrection protocols, how they were bringing people back by necessity.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, we want Harry Leland at the UN, and no one even considered resurrecting him before they needed him. And that's not cool. That's not cool.
That's the reality of it, though.
Fascism.
That's
some fascism right there.
Yep. That's
so I like
how the X universe has been working.
I also like in that book how Jerry Duggan is, like, he mentions Conan was living in the Hellfire house, in the Hellfire Clubhouse.
Oh yeah, he does.
That was
kicked
cool.
That savage who was living in the house.
Yeah, that was cool. He brings in his X-Men thing, where Urich, has the scoop about resurrection protocols, and they tell Harry to shut the fuck up about it. So I think that's interesting. Hickman may not have been writing a lot of books, but the books he was writing, everybody else was feeding off them. Jerry Duggan is writing a lot of books, so he can just feed off of himself.
Right, he's doing what Joshua Williamson's doing now.
Exactly.
Now at TC.
But Duggan is a good enough writer that I think he can keep up.
I have more faith with Duggan, but also Duggan's not writing Marauders for much longer. Isn't that getting a new writer, a new team soon?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So, but still a damn good book. Still a good choice for number 3. And then we're to Dave. I don't know about Dave. There was a really light week on the smaller press this week.
All right.
All right, hold on.
First honorable mention is going to be Animal Castle #1.
See, I didn't get to that. I so wanted to.
Pretty much just like a pretty good pickup from Animal Farm, like just a few years later, where the animals have built like a castle.
Cool.
And we don't get into like the politics of it, but the book starts off with the execution of a hen.
You don't get into politics and the sequel to one of the most political books of all time.
Well, they talk about like the president and the division of labor and that the dogs are the enforcers.
Oh, so they do get political.
They do get political, but
it's not as deep as
not in the first issue. But the solicit said that there was a rat, and the rat never shows up in the book.
Okay,
and the rat's supposed to be the revolutionary.
Dude, I gotta read that. That sounds so cool.
But it basically. It ends with a food riot, and a bunch of animals become food, essentially.
Nice.
My other honorable mention is going to be Department of Truth, number 14. Wild book. Now, if you know anything about the history of L. Ron Hubbard and Parsons, you know that this actually did happen. They did perform the ceremony in the Mojave Desert to summon the Red Woman, the Scarlet Woman.
Well, I mean, they did that in the book, but they were friends in real life.
But they were friends in real life, and they talked about this. They talked about how Hubbard used Parsons, and Hubbard was banging Parsons' girlfriend at the time, and pretty much was doing things like this. So there's a lot of if you know your history, like that kind of history, that's a fairly good book that is very knowledgeable.
You know who that kid was at the end, right?
Hawk Harrison.
Yeah, you know who that is, right?
Oh, I'm trying to think. Who was he?
No, he's the guy from the book who wears that American flag hat. That old man. Yeah, dude. That's what I was like. Oh shit, that kid is that guy. Yeah, that was the big takeaway for me. But yeah, good book, great.
But Tiny knows his stuff when it comes to like the conspiracy theory and the woo factor of a lot of things. So that was a real treat to read.
Nice.
My number 3 pick this week is actually a book from Bad Idea. It's a two-part book, 2 different stories in the books, Refuge and Last Resorts is what it's called. Okay. Marguerite Savage does the interior artwork for Refuge.
Nice.
Refuse, like trash?
Like you find a refuge.
A refuge.
Refuge.
I thought you were saying refuse, like garbage.
Yeah, I thought he was too for
but
I think you were trying to overpronounce refuge.
It's fine.
All
you did good, Dave. Say it the way you say it, bro. You feel it when you say it.
But it's essentially
that defeats the point of having a pronunciation.
It does.
Yes, it does. I've been derailed. There's it's beautiful interior artwork, and it's just art told by Margaret Savage, and it's just art telling the story. There's very little dialogue in it. It's a woman that we don't know if she crash landed or she just deliberately hid away on this planet. But this woman just basically is like Robinson Crusoe.
Oh, fun. That's fun. So on alien sci-fi Robinson Crusoe.
But she's learning from the animals what's safe to eat, and she's tired of things, and she finds her spaceship, and then she realizes that she made this choice, but she kind of misses things, so she goes back.
Okay.
The other story is called Last Resorts. It's a futuristic dystopian story. Essentially, have you ever heard of To Think Like a Dinosaur? I think it's like a Ray Bradbury book.
I
know there was an episode
Dinosaur Planet. He did a book called Dinosaur Planet.
It might be. I might be getting my streams crossed here, but I know there's an Outer Limits episode from like the one in the 90s where there was an episode where these dinosaur-like aliens developed teleporter technology, but when you use the teleporter, it makes a clone of you. So the clone has to die.
Oh, like The Prestige.
So, I've never seen The Prestige.
Oh, well, I've just spoiled it for you. Sorry.
Thank you.
I actually did get The Prestige spoiled for me, and I have never seen it either.
It's an awesome movie.
It is an awesome movie, yeah.
But essentially, this corporation has these teleporters that can send you anywhere in the galaxy.
That's cool.
They give you a free trip, one free trip, but the other trips you have to pay for, apparently. Okay. So this one guy is manipulating the system using fake identities and stuff and making multiple free trips. And then he finds out that he's been cloned and his clones are being used as a labor force.
Oh, rad. That's cool.
And that there's also when there's too many clones or something happens to the clone, then their organs are harvested for organ harvesting for replacements and stuff. And and this corporation is giving trips to everybody. So there's clones of everybody, and this is happening too.
That's a cool sci-fi story.
But it is
sci-fi story.
It just went one direction to another direction really fast. It became like the guy went around, started freeing his clones, and they started a revolution, and it was just crazy.
Yeah.
And then
Bad Ideas going away, man. This is one of the last books.
But they're good books. They're great books.
Nice. Good choice.
It was great.
I wish I could get them. I can't find Bad Idea books anywhere.
You can't find them where you're at now.
Well, anywhere, even when I was looking for them, or I had the opportunity to look for them, I couldn't find them. Taylor, number 2.
My number 2 is going to be The Human Target, number 2. I'm really enjoying this as like a noir story, right? Like Greg Smallwood is a perfect fit for this type of hard-boiled detective story type of feel that they're going for. And they're introducing Ice in this one as sort of the femme fatale, the dame with legs for miles, that sort of shtick.
She came into my office. She smelled like roses.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah. I'm liking the way this is shaping up. I'm enjoying sort of all the mystery aspect of this. This is a whodunit. In fact, the variant I got, they have it set up as like a clue board. They're calling it whodunit.
Yeah.
Apparently, all the suspects are in Justice League International, so that's a fun gimmick to have thrown in here. Gives us a good excuse to see a lot of characters as the series goes on. And yeah, I'm thinking it's a lot of fun. So cool. I'm curious to see where it keeps going from here.
Yeah, I skipped this week. There was just so much. I just didn't get it.
I mean, yeah, it was a real onslaught this week. I had to cut some things that I really wanted to get this week.
It was. But yeah, solid choice.
Gotta get them $10 books.
Shit. There were a lot.
Yeah, I wasn't able to get that Wonder Woman Historia thing. That was.
We'll talk about it in a little bit.
Okay.
My number 2 is Robin Annual, Williamson, Roger Cruz, Victor Olazaba, Jorge Corona cover. Just cool art.
Definitely cool art.
Yeah, great art, and it had it's like giving you this background. Like he hacks the back computer and he gets Bruce's files on all of these people that he's combating with.
It's not Bruce's files; those are his files.
Yeah, but he was able to hack Bruce's files to get to his files or something.
Yes,
because he's not allowed in the back computer. He's grounded from the back computer. But it did, yes, preface this Shadow War that's upcoming. But to me, this was a good annual because it gives you background on the story that is happening in the book that it is an annual of. And this is the only annual from this week that fucking did this.
Actually, it's not.
I didn't read Joker. But the other ones I read did not fucking do that. Okay?
No, they did not do that. But this one did. It also gave you the origin for what's her name?
Flatline.
Flatline, yeah.
Oh, and it was so good, dude.
Yeah.
Her origin is she's basically Taskmaster, but she can't read your moves until you die.
She's Taskmaster and the kid from Sixth Sense mixed together.
Yes.
And whenever somebody dies in front of her, she sees the ghost of that person and can like absorb their skills and powers.
Yeah.
That's pretty rad.
And it's rad because at one point in the story, Robin dies. So he's wondering, oh, did she pick up on my powers? You know what I mean? So that's going to come into play.
But it's really cool in the beginning though, because her powers manifest when her grandfather dies. Yeah. They go to see her grandfather who's in the hospital and he dies in front of them. And then right when he dies, she's like, oh shit, I see everything. Did you know that Grandpa was a serial killer?
Yeah.
And then she gets like all of his serial killer powers basically.
Yeah. And then she goes and finds what's his name?
Lord Deathman.
Yeah, no Deathman or some shit.
Lord Deathman.
Yeah, Lord Deathman.
Lord Deathman from Japanese. Like those old Batman stories.
Yes. Who just died. He's basically immortal. So every time she kills him, she's gaining more, powers as it's wild, dude. But
is this the guy that dies, resurrects, and comes back with a different power?
I don't know about that.
I don't think he did that.
That's Resurrection, man.
Okay. Yes, that is Resurrection.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember him now.
Keep her away from him.
It was really fun. It's the way to present an annual, and in a week that was really heavy with annuals, it was fantastic. I had a great time with it. So yeah, I guess go ahead, Adam.
My number 2 was the Joker annual. Speaking of great noir stories, and also speaking of annuals that give you background to the story that's going on currently. So first off, this has art. Francavilla art is chef's kiss. It's amazing.
Oh,
it
wow.
really sets that tone for your noir story. The story set during Jim Gordon's first year as commissioner, so it's like 1 year after like the Long Halloween, basically.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So they've cleaned up the streets of Gotham, the mob's all away, and the police are kind of taking it easy. All the police force, they're not really taking their job seriously. Harvey's coming to work drunk.
Nice.
Nice. And Jim is seeing all of this, and he's seeing, now that he has no outside threats to deal with, he's seeing the threats that are inside the police department. He's seeing all the crooked cops and stuff. He's seeing the cops that are pulling people into interrogation and basically torturing them into giving false confessions.
Wow.
And it's him dealing with all of this stuff. And he basically fires half the police force in this issue. But you find out the reason why he fires half the police issue is because there's been no crime for a year. The Joker has been quiet. There's been no big organized crime.
Let's bring him out.
But the big thing is this issue is Joker's pulling a prank on Jim Gordon. The reason why he hasn't been pulling any crimes is because he wanted Jim Gordon to fire all of his people so that it clears the way for Joker to come in and do his crime wave.
Classic Joker.
Yes. Classic. And it ends with this great pinata reveal at the end, which is just beautifully drawn with a nice note to Jim Gordon. So Joker makes sure that Jim Gordon knows that it's all his fault that whatever's happening is about to happen.
That's
your
cool.
cost-cutting measures have cost you the city.
Quit laying people off. Quit laying people off, Jim. Yeah, great choice. Man, you rave about this book. It's a constant on your list. I got to catch up on it.
It's really the best Batman Tinian related shit that he's been writing, which is, again, not a high bar to...
Sure. Yeah, I got to check that out.
Big D.
Scumbag number 11.
See, I didn't read this either.
I didn't pick this one up this week. It's in my box.
Totally forgot about this.
Such a big week.
But Ernie does something good, and it cost him everything.
Well, let's not go into exasperating detail so that you don't spoil it for Adam and Gomer.
Don't spoil it. Yeah, don't spoil it. But
just
consistent. Who was the artist on this month's issue?
This artist on this month's issue.
We mentioned it on the preview show, but I don't remember.
I think it's Bocce.
Oh, it's Bocce. That's right.
Roland Bocce.
Nice.
Yeah, but I won't go into too many details. But Ernie does something really good for all the wrong reasons. And
it's always for the wrong.
It's always for the wrong reasons.
But it's usually the bad thing.
But he does something unselfish this time. I'll just put it that way.
It'll hurt him every time. It'll hurt you every time.
Yeah.
Cool. Consistently terrific book. It's depraved as hell, but man, it's so much fun. That leads us to number 1.
My number 1 is New Mutants number 23.
That's my number 1. I thought we would have the same one this week.
Fantastic.
I'm not surprised, because so they have gone into the mindscape of the New Mutants and the Shadow King, and
man,
it is trippy
slow clap
as
for Blood
shit.
art in this.
Absolutely, yes.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
There's a lot of really strong art showcases this week, but this really blows everything else completely out of the water.
I have an argument for that I will make in a little bit, but yes, go ahead.
Well, fuck you, you're wrong, because this blows everything else this week completely out of the water. It was okay. At least let's say it's really, really good. How about that?
No, it is. It is fantastic. I had a great time reading this.
I also really love the way that they wrote it, where we see like the play script, right, to like kind of move the plot along, and they also like work that into the background as they're making their way through like this MC Escher painting of a setting,
Yeah.
But I also just really love this issue for the meaning behind it, about how it's not necessarily about forgiving Farouk for all the things that the Shadow King and he, by extension, have done to all of these people, but it's about recognizing that Farouk is also a victim in all of this, and that he also deserves to be saved at the end.
They don't shy away from the complicated nature of what's happening here. We're like, he has done a lot of terrible things, and it's not just like this saccharine, cheesy thing where like, we need to just let it go. No, you can still be mad at him, but also recognize that it's more complicated than that. Recognize that he is a victim, and it is very common for people who have been victimized to become victimizers.
Yeah. Fantastic issue. I mean, it's always a solid book.
Yeah, it's ever since this new creative team, it's top tier of the X books for sure.
Yeah, could probably always be in the top 3 any week it comes out. Yeah, fantastic book. I guess that comes to me. My number 1, Kelly Sue DeConnick and Phil Jimenez on Wonder Woman Historia, the Amazons, number 1. The story is solid. It's Kelly Sue DeConnick. She knows how to write a damn book. It gets a little bit deep. It almost loses itself, in this story, because it's just so big and talking about all these different tribes and the founding leaders of these tribes and things like that. But the art is a flex on every fucking page. The art in this page with all these jars floating around is this good on every page. This epic, this detailed, this full. I mean, look at this, just the sequential art going on in this, the comic booking going on in this with panel placement and design choices. It's like this on every page. Everybody should pick this up, even if you're just going to glance at it and not even really dive into the story. It's amazing. This could give Echo Lands a run for its money for best art of the year. It's fantastic. It's so good. Echo Lands has a lot more issues out, so it's probably got the lead, but man, I was pleasantly surprised with just how gorgeous this book was, and there was no way this is a book that'll last. Once all 3 issues of this are out, people will talk about this, if not for the story, for Jimenez's work. on this art. It might be the best work he's ever done.
Well, it's good to see, right? If you're gonna if you are going to do like this prestige format, like do like these minis, this is what you should be doing with it, right? Like give us a fucking onslaught of artwork,
Yeah. Big, bold, just fantastic book. My number one of the week. No way it wasn't going to be after I mean, it was jaw dropping every time you turn the page. You're like, what? How? How did the guy do this? It was so good. Adam, I think you mentioned it. Your number one.
Yeah, mine number one was New Mutants 23.
It's amazing Farouk right here. It's so
it
good.
is
so
Farouk
good.
and Shadow King. But yeah, I don't think we really need to get into
that. Leads us to Big D, wrapping it up.
Alrighty. Da-da-da-da. I really got a kick out of King of Spies #1.
That's what you chose?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Terrible choice.
I liked it.
Wow.
Hey, I'm gonna be Taylor here.
I'm sorry. We could not go a week.
Taylor's pick
we could not go a week without me shitting on one of Dave's picks. I'm sorry, but that is it. That was, man, I was not impressed by this.
Hey, Gomer, shut up. Let David
You're
talk.
right. You're absolutely right.
I mean, it's the opening of the book is basically a nonstop
It's action.
It's killing everything. He's just like killing the twins.
It's like John Wick.
Yeah, it's
like John Wick.
John Wick.
Yeah.
But when we jump to modern day, he's kind of looking at his regrets, and he was talking about, like, we did these things for the reasons for king and country, but we left a lot of terrible people in the world. And now that the guy is only got so much time to live, he's decided he's got an inoperable tumor,
disease, cancer, or something like that. He's going to
and
die
only
soon.
In 6 months' time, and he's just decided that he is going to take out as many pieces of shit as he can take out.
See, to me, the book started off as a redemption story, and then it ended up being a revenge story. And not really a revenge story, because he's not trying to get revenge on these people that he's going to murder. He's getting revenge on his bosses for not sending him to murder them originally. I don't know. I think Mark Miller's a little lost in the weeds here. It was definitely full of action. I could definitely see the appeal of this, especially with the way Millar writes his shit for TV. This would make a great... I mean, dude, the opening 4 or 5 pages to this, if that was the first 15 minutes of a movie, there's no way I'm not watching that movie.
That would be an incredible movie. I mean, it's the invasion of Nicaragua in the 90s.
Yeah.
And so but yeah, it's kind of like, the closest thing I could probably give it a comparison to is the movie Falling Down.
Yeah, a little bit.
But
it's more political. It's way more political.
It's a little more. There is a bit of an element of political to it, but when those, I guess they're Russians or something in the club are just mistreating the waitress, and he just goes in the bathroom and kills them all.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
It triggers him, and he's like, "All right, I'm just gonna go murder these scumbags."
And
it's like he's becoming changing from international spy to international vigilante. And I just wasn't expecting that story.
But there was like these
John Wick, they murdered his dog. He had a reason to do what he was doing. This guy, it doesn't seem like his reason.
He wants to leave
at all.
His reason is he wants to leave. He thought he was leaving the world a better place for his kids, but that's not the fact. Now he's going to try to leave the world a better place for his kids, even though
there's also like this hint of where he's also doing it for selfish reasons. Like he's trying to still prove to himself that he's got it. He's still trying to prove to himself that he did do some good for the world, and not for his kids, for his own ego. Because he lived this life, this job where he had to do these terrible things, and he doesn't feel like he's like regretful. He regrets that.
I can see
that. The way that's manifesting itself as an outlet is for him to do more terrible shit, only on his terms, not the government's terms. And I don't know. It was not bad. The art was great.
The art was terrific.
The art was terrific. But on such a heavy week, dude, there was no way. This was going to even make my list. But
I mean, I didn't pick up like any of the annuals, and I skipped the Avengers book. So I mean, I just kind of stick with what I like.
No one's judging you. Am I judging him, guys?
You sounded a lot like you were judging him. Yes.
Maybe his choice, not him. Just
All right, whatever.
Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We really appreciate it. If you wanted more, check out the Comic Book Bullies. They're going to record tonight. You can go to outrightgeekery.com and find links to all the different shit we got going on. There's all kinds of different stuff up there. We're going to be back tomorrow night to do our preview show. We've got a best of show in the pipe coming sooner or later. There's just a whole lot of shit going on. Big Willie, I think, is still around somewhere. I haven't talked to him in a while.
He just sits motionless on his screen. Doesn't blink, doesn't breathe.
But yeah, we got a whole bunch of new stuff coming. Maybe in the new year we'll do something else too. I'm not sure. Hopefully IDW loses Transformers G.I. Joe. We'll talk about that when it happens. It's the most exciting news of the year for me, man. And it's not even news; it's a rumor. But anyway, again,
for IDW,
it's bad news for them. Great news for us. Again, thanks everybody for listening, but most of all, thanks to these 3 jokers for hanging out with this joker.
Anytime, man.
We're going to do it again next time.
Same geek time, same geek channel.
Perfect.
You shit all over his pick and then you cut him off.
It was a bad time.
He even got it right this week.
I know, it was a little bit of bad time.